Welcome back to another triangle strategy.
And so it was that the once proud kingdom of Glenbrook did fall. Aesfrost seized control of the crown city, threatening to bring the surrounding domains under its iron yoke.
Okay, we pretty much know the story, but in this lap, we're gonna be surrendering Roland, so there's gonna be a bunch of new stuff coming in the next few episodes.
Now the Archduke's army marches upon House Wolffort's stronghold, where Prince Roland is being sheltered by his loyal friends and allies.
Your most honorable siblings, Lord Thalas and Lady Erica, have arrived, my lord.
Thank you for the escort. You may go now.
If there is anything else that you require, anything at all, you need but say the word.
In that case, I would have a bottle of the realm's finest wine and a serving of fresh fruit delivered to my quarters.
But of course, milady, I shall have the servants fetch it at once.
Ever eager to please, isn't he?
I believe the word you're looking for is sycophant. Congratulations on bringing Glenbrook to its knees, brother. It's a thing of beauty, what you've accomplished. I trust you're already seeing to that fuss outside the castle walls?
Of course.
The other domains are putting up little in the way of resistance. Lord Telliore trembles in his seat within the stronghold, and Lord Falkes was oblivious to what was happening until it was far too late.
How easily the three high houses of Glenbrook break under your iron boot, brother.
Wolffort is the last to hold out, but Avlora will deal with them. Prince Roland will be in our hands before long.
This is the part where they want to get rid of House Wolffort because obviously House Wolffort's been a threat since the Salt Iron War. What's his name? Symon is the hero of that war. In which case, Gustadolph is still serious at this point, but it gets less than that as the story progresses.
Speaking of royalty, brother, I would have thought Cordelia would be dead or rotting in jail. Yet here she sits on the throne. She looks less a vanquished princess and more a queen.
That is precisely what I would have her be.
Whatever do you mean?
Once things have calmed, I shall assume guardianship over her and have her crowned. A few days hence, Regna will be executed. I've already informed Pattriate as much.
So the wise and benevolent King Regna meets his end at last.
Father!
Please, can someone explain? What are we going to do? Excuse me. Can you tell me what's happening?
Did I hear him wrong? I don't.
What has been said?
There we go. Ragna's gonna get killed now.
Subjects of Glenbrook, I am Gustadolph, Archduke and High Commander of the Grand Duchy of Aesfrost. Hear my words. The sins King Regna has committed against us, and against you, his own people, are grievous indeed.
What has he done to us? I don't believe it.
3 decades have passed since the end of the war. In the years since, we have all done what we can to rebuild our nations. The opening of the Grand Norzelian mines was to be the dawn of a new age. An age where our 3 nations would work together for the peace and prosperity of all. But King Regna spat in the face of that glorious dream. As our engineers worked tirelessly to put success within reach, your King Regna schemed in the shadows to seize control of the mine for his own profit. And when Dragan Esfrost, my dear cousin, and the man tasked with overseeing the mine's operations, became aware of this plot, King Regna had him assassinated in cold blood. In doing so, he betrayed not only my own nation and the holy state of Hyzante, but you as well. The very people who were to share in the wealth the mine would bring. And so we were left with no choice but to march on Whiteholm Castle and put an end to Regna's treachery by force. Our actions were born of a righteous duty to avenge Dragan's murder and this odious betrayal of this historic accord between our nations. What say you, King Regna? Do you deny these charges against you?
I do not. But I beg of you, spare my children.
Subjects of Glenbrook, your traitor king admits his guilt before you. The punishment for these crimes is death. Off with his head!
Roland, Cordelia, the future of our kingdom is in your hands now.
What doesn't make sense with me is the utility is not given to Benedict and instead to Roland, and it should be vice versa. You would think utility would go more with Benedict, how logical he is.
Just days after the fall of the Crown City, King Regna of Glenbrook is beheaded before his subjects.
Versus Roland.
The death of this kind and benevolent monarch plunges the realm into confusion and chaos. With the king perishes an all too short-lived era of peace. And in its place, one of bloodshed and turmoil.
Well, we're well aware of these. Got a lot of side stories to cover.
Minister Sorsley.
What is it this time, Booker?
We've just received word that Esfrost has launched a surprise invasion of Glenbrook. Whiteholm burns as we speak.
What's this?
The Crown City has fallen. King Regna was beheaded, and it is said Crown Prince Franny also perished in the fray. Prince Roland has fled to the domain of House Wolffort, with the Grand Duchy's army in close pursuit.
Goddess forbid. What could the Archduke be plotting? And what did the others think of the matter?
At any rate, I must speak with the Hierophant at once.
Minister, if I may assuage you, I propose that perhaps this situation may yet play to House N's benefit.
Our benefit, you say? Indeed. Indeed, you may have the right of it. My dear Booker, whatever would House N do without you?
Send a bird to the palace. Tell them that the Holy One's faithful servant Sorsley would humbly beg an audience.
At once, Master.
Funny we won't be able to get rid of Booker because I think we're going on the other side.
Your Majesty,
House Falkes has failed you. I have failed you. High House, damn it all! When you needed us most, we were not there to answer the call. How did we not see what they were plotting? How did we not know to go to your aid? But no, cursing our fate will not bring you back to us. We must focus our efforts on the one who might yet save Glenbrook from downfall. We must protect Prince Roland with our lives.
And then there's Telliore. Scheming bastard.
Whatever is House Telliore to do? With King Regna gone, we must find a way to preserve ourselves. Landroi, that proud fool, will no doubt fight to the bitter end. But House Falkes alone is no match for the Grand Duchy. Yet if House Wolffort were to fight at their side... They say Prince Roland is in Wolffort's charge. If this is true, there's a good chance they will join the fray. Or will they? The Wolfforts may choose to ransom the prince to Esfrost, in return for amnesty for their own domain. If it comes to that, Esfrost will either kill the prince and princess, or use them as their pawns, and Glenbrook will fall. Bending the knee to Esfrost may be our only hope if we are to live to see tomorrow.
I thought they always say the morrow. And then there's Pattriate.
It would seem things have calmed outside the castle walls.
What is to become of us now? Word has it the King's Guard's been slaughtered to the last man. We must flee while we have our lives.
If they meant to kill ordinary folk like us, wouldn't they have done so already? Even as frosty dogs have some honor then. Who'd have thought? Anyway, there's no point fighting. What'll be, will be.
Our people seem less resentful of Esfrost than I would have expected. No doubt due to the Archduke's decision to focus their attack on the castle and leave the town itself unscathed. So, the common folk won't be a problem. That just leaves the matter of the royal family. His Grace and the Crown Prince have been dealt with, and Princess Cordelia has been brought to heel. Prince Roland is the only one unaccounted for, but the men I arranged for hunt him down as we speak. Word has it there's also a sizable bounty on his head. No, he'll not last long. I knew Gustadolph to be a shrewd man, but his attention to detail is nothing short of astonishing. I have seen all I would. Let us return.
A big mistake underestimating Roland or Serenoa in that case, or Benedict in that very sense.
Lord Serenoa, thank the heavens you're safe.
It is good to be home.
Castle Wolffort is the most impregnable stronghold in all the kingdom.
You will be safe here, Your Highness.
Thank you. I can only hope Father and Sir Maxwell are safe as well.
Benedict, there is news.
What's the matter, Benedict? You look as if you've seen a ghost.
Your Highness, my lord, pray try to remain calm. His Grace was beheaded at the Crown City not bells ago.
Father. No. Say it is not so.
Roland.
I can only imagine what you're feeling now, Your Highness. But I fear we have not the luxury of grieving. As the last living heir to the throne, there is no doubt that the Archduke will target you next.
Indeed. We must move quickly. I would seek Father's counsel.
About Lord Symon.
What is it? Has something befallen Father? Father!
Lord Symon, what is the meaning of this?
He collapsed when he heard the news from the Crown City, and has not opened his eyes since.
You must be mad. The man was stronger than an ox.
We cannot afford to lose Lord Symon. Not now, of all times.
War could have gone differently if Symon was leading the charge.
Father. Be strong, Father. This realm still needs you. I still need you, Father. Father.
Serenoa.
Is there any chance he will recover?
Our healers are doing everything they can, but none can say.
Very well.
Benedict's like, very well, I'm not gonna account him to my plans, to my strategy.
Do not give up hope, Serenoa. The malady will not take your father easily.
Forgive me, Roland. I can only imagine what you feel now.
I must stay strong. I cannot allow Father's death to be in vain. You too must remain composed. For Lord Symon. And for those who now look to you for guidance in his stead.
I will try.
Pardon me, my lord. I come bearing a message.
From whom?
The scout we had sent in search of Sir Maxwell returned with this.
Sir Maxwell's mask.
You guys
Reports
got
have
the
it that
hat.
it was found near Whiteholm Bridge.
Blood. No. It cannot be.
This mask was all that was found, you say?
The bridge was all but overflowing with the bodies of the fallen. It was not possible to ascertain all of their identities. And the swift course of the river thwarted any efforts to search further.
I see. Thank you for the report. Get some rest. You have earned it.
Yes, my lord.
Sir Maxwell. You too abandon me now?
Adding to that, things would have been way different if Maxwell and Symon are alive. At least we have Groma.
At Gustadolph's command, Esfrost musters its forces at Whiteholm Castle and commences a march on the Wolffort domain. Their aim, to seize in their clutches Prince Roland, the unwilling heir to Glenbrook's throne.
It's finally time to decide to abandon Roland too.
My lord, the Esfrosti army advances on us as we speak. A missive has arrived from Lord Gustadolph. It says they will stand down on the condition that we surrender Prince Roland to them at once.
We've not much time before they're on our doorstep, my lord.
Word has it that General Avlora herself heads the vanguard.
Gustadolph's not taking any chances. The scheming bastard.
Summon the War Council at once. We must take swift action.
You cannot be serious about this.
It's all right, Frederica.
Please continue, Benedict.
Thank you. Once more, I would ask you plainly. Do we or don't we relinquish Prince Roland to Esfrost?
I say we refuse. We owe Sir Maxwell that much. Precisely. Sir Maxwell entrusted us with keeping His Highness safe, and we accepted.
There's no place in the realm more sheltered by the terrain than this castle. He is safer here than anywhere. And yet, if the Archduke were to march on us with an army as great as the one that took the Crown City, or, heaven forbid, a greater one,
the natural fortifications of this land would work against us. Our shelter would become our jail.
So you propose that we just abandon him? That we sacrifice his life for our own protection?
Better my life than any of yours. This is my battle. I would not see the blood of my friends spilt in my name.
But see, Your Highness, that's where you're wrong. House Wolffort's the sword and shield of the crown. You go to battle, we go with you. So it's always been.
Enough! I will leave before I see your domain ravaged by fighting. It is the only way. Surely you see this, yes?
I refuse to believe sacrificing any of us is the correct path.
My lord, we cannot allow war to come to the Wolffort domain. Your highest priority must be to your loyal subjects.
And Benedict has been consistent with that idea. He really treasures the Wolffort domain out of his promise to Destra and Symon.
You must decide.
All right.
We cannot hope to win against Esfrost. But if we do nothing to stop them, many will lose their lives.
Indeed, all paths are fraught with danger. In which case, we ought to choose whichever option ensures our survival. If we live, we can reclaim what we've lost.
So we'd be buying ourselves some time.
As the master of this domain, you and no other must decide how we proceed.
I understand that, Benedict. Prepare the scales of conviction. I would hear everyone's thoughts on the matter.
I thought he already made a decision with that. Always have to rely on everyone. Democracy. Oh, cool. We got character stories. Oh, wow. We're actually gonna get them. We're at 1600 utility, I guess.
I can hear it calling me. I must go.
There you are! Oh, how many times must we tell you? It's too dangerous to go off on your own. You have a precious gift that must be protected.
I'm sorry, but I cannot stay.
Did you see something again? You once foresaw a terrible landslide near the village. Had we not evacuated, we all would have perished. What do you see this time?
Something I must do. So if you'll excuse me.
Wait! Don't go!
Excuse me, my lord, but an odd child has requested an audience with you.
A child?
We tried turning him away, but he insists on meeting. You there, stop!
You are Serenoa, yes? I am called Quahaug. Pray, allow me to join your company.
You look troubled. Is something the matter?
I can see the past and future, all that has been and all that will be. The other day I had a vision. I saw the two of us fighting together. It was a vision of my destiny.
You needn't entertain this boy's nonsense, sir. I will have him removed at once.
No, I would not see a child turned away. Let us hear more of his story.
Excuse me, my lord. I could not help but overhear. I have heard of a child from a nearby village with the power to see the future. Would that happen to be you?
It would. You must be Anna. I've had visions of you as well.
How do you know my name?
In the visions, that is what I always called you.
It would appear the rumors are true.
I am certain my power can aid you in many ways. Please take me in.
Quahaug, I do not possess the power to see the future you have been privy to. But I believe this meeting was fate. If it is your wish, you shall have a place in my company.
Excellent. I thank you.
Alright, we got Quahaug. Seems like he's a backliner. I wonder what he specializes in. Time and space. Wow, okay, that's broken. Can return the battlefield to the way it was one turn ago. If someone dies, we could fix it. And then Quietus, bam. Seems like it's gonna be an asset. Before we decide, let's check on this guy. What's he though? A mage ultimately, I guess. Space-time scepter. The way he looks Hyzantean. Reminds you of Lila. From the caster's previous turn. So this is gonna be a stretch to set up, but it's gonna be an asset. A delayed damage, like Lila. This is good. This is good too. So all strategic positioning except this one, which is delayed. So it's a gimmicky character, but could be really useful if on an extended fight. But on like a brawl, on a skirmish, this guy's gonna get owned. Alright, let's decide.
I will give the signal when it is time to cast your vote. I ask each of you to weigh the matter carefully till then.
Very well, my lord. To our own councils we go.
Their hearts are divided. Still, a compelling argument may yet change some minds. Alas, I have an incomplete picture of the situation, and I would be poor lord if I did not hear the voice of my people. I should venture into town. Going out, my lord. Yes, I wish to ensure everything in the town is in order. I should return to the hall once I've spoken with the people. Perhaps I'll learn something that will sway some minds. So no treasure. Just gonna talk to some people. Okay, we're gonna be spamming Liberty from here on out, because we got Quahaug, so we've max utility. So we can get everyone in this second lap. I shall take that to heart, thank you. Secret traps. It is hard to say what this might mean for us. We're not gonna go that route anyway. They might well be employed to give us an advantage in battle, but at what cost to our own? Okay, I missed these houses, the ones that burned. If he's to be delivered alive, I'd wager they have no plans of executing him. At least not anytime soon. I should let the others know of this. The Danwspear is gone, my friend. Sir Maxwell laid down his life so that we might see another day. We must do all in our power to see that his noble sacrifice was not in vain. Damn, only got worry mouths to feed. Your domain's gonna get destroyed, buddy. So we're gonna be surrendering. So we're convincing Frederica, Hewitt, and Erador. Our kingdom needs Prince Roland now more than ever. He is to be protected above all others. Surrender Glenbrook's future king to our hated foe? Surely you'll not go along with this. Well, it sounds like a utility answer anyway. The death of innocents is the last thing His Highness would stand for. This is true. Especially if they were to give their lives in his name.
Then...
I ask you again, my lord. Do you truly mean to surrender Prince Roland to our oppressors? I understand you have a duty to the people, my lord. And yet I cannot help but feel this must seem an exceptionally cold and calculating decision to Prince Roland.
I don't know what to do.
There are no good options. Alas, I must make my peace with one of them. Pray do not forget this, but we'll be getting Maxwell this run, so there's no sacrifice that happened.
What do you need?
No, we protected Roland already. A peace built by forsaking our friends and countrymen in their time of greatest need is no peace at all. I know what I ask is not easy, but I pray we find a bloodless path out of this conflict. Do you truly mean to give up Prince Roland?
I see.
I too understand that we must do all in our power to see innocent lives are not lost. Must we truly make such a callous choice in order to protect the people?
I need a moment to think.
Okay, lady. My apologies, but this has only left me more uncertain of what is right.
Serenoa.
Serenoa, there must be a way to avoid weighing my life against those of others. I trust we can find it. Decide what you will, I shall follow whatever judgment you pass. Well, the judgment has been made.
My lord. Here's what I think.
We've been loyal to the crown for years, lad. You understand what they're asking for is treasonous, don't you? He's the king's own flesh and blood. We should be protecting him, not offering him up on a silver platter. It's the only way, Erador. Is this what you call justice now? Willingly giving up your prince, your closest friend, to that bastard's clutches?
You're onto something.
Damn right. As much as we're part of the royal family, first and foremost, we're the keepers of our own home. Don't you think for a minute I've gone forgetting that?
And further.
All I know for certain is Glenbrook will be but a memory if we give up Prince Roland. And what do you think will become of House Wolffort then? How do you mean to repay the debt we owe our king? This is such a troll answer. Let's do it.
What are you on about?
That's not how this sort of debt works, lad. I advise you to clear your head. Your countrymen are reeling. They need a leader with a vision. Do you fear the duchy, Erador? That they may destroy the domain as we know it?
Consider this.
Of course I do. But we have to face them down. There's nowhere to run.
Hadn't considered that.
That's what keeps you up at night? Of course we can, lad. I reckon she's the least of our worries. I don't care if she got the better of Maxwell. She's no match for the likes of us. Okay, Erador? I appreciate the talk, lad. Helps to know where your head is leading you.
And further.
There's time yet. Go on. See what the others have to say. He was moved by that. Interesting.
Lord Serenoa.
What troubles you the most, my lord?
Certainly.
For there will be no safe haven for our people if Esfrost attacks. Your duty as lord compels you to protect the people. Thus, the only choice is to surrender, Prince Roland.
But...
Is that a choice you can live with?
Indeed.
He entrusted the kingdom to Prince Roland in word and deed. I have my doubts as to whether a restoration of the kingdom without its prince would please him. I appreciate your candor. She was moved nonetheless. Okay, anyways.
It is time to cast our votes. Do we surrender Prince Roland, or do we protect him from those who would do him harm? Approach the scales of conviction with your token at the ready.
I will put my faith in you.
Smart girl. It's what got her to Centralia last lap.
I agree.
I maintain the courage of my convictions. What convictions? She's neutral as hell.
Please forgive me.
You won me over.
Okay, I won Erdor over about not being able to beat Avlora. That's cool.
The scales of conviction will illuminate the path we've chosen.
Alright, unanimous. Easy as pie, not even a contest.
The way forward is decided. Surrendering Prince Roland is the only way we can survive.
So be it.
The decision is made. This is the path we walk.
Roland.
Say no more. Thank you for sheltering me, my friend. The choice you have made is wise and just. Go forward with your heads high.
That's probably the only thing that we're gonna miss out on gameplay-wise. Roland is like a glass cannon. As bad as he was in the beginning, now he's really a good unit. And he has no replacement as far as damage goes.